George, if you were in charge right now, it's part 7, it's out, it's making money, people dig it. Where do you go from here?
To New York, obviously.
Is that where you go? You go to New York?
Wow.
Yeah, you're pretty
Man, 2 for 2, George. You're 2 for 2.
It's like you watched it.
Is that where he goes?
What?
Somehow he gets out of a lake and heads to New York.
He goes to Vancouver, guys. Beautiful mountains. Hey, so
Yeah.
tell me, George, I know you've got notes for part 8, and I just want to hear them. I want to hear those
Can't
notes.
wait.
I have more notes for part 8.
I wonder if they matched my first comment.
First note. Okay, it's going to be one of those kind of movies.
Do you remember when you wrote that, by chance?
No.
Yeah, the
No,
credits.
I don't remember. It was before the first 2 kills because it was... Then my next note is first 2 kills were underwhelming. I like the name of the ship.
Yes, the Lazarus.
The Lazarus. Because Lazarus dies. And then
comes
is
back. Yep.
resurrected. Uncle, what's his name? Played by Bill Nye the Science Guy. That was some top-notch fake guitar playing. Not a very safe boat. There's like no rail. What the heck?
It is not up to code.
That's not a safe boat.
So you could die on that boat even without Jason walking
Yeah,
around?
you don't need Jason on that boat to die. You just stand next to the non-railing edge.
Jason isn't even actually on the boat. He's just a manifestation of all the safety violations.
Right. He's OSHA. He's not Jason. He's OSHA.
Little Jason popping out of the mirror looked terrible.
Little Jason.
Yeah, well, young Jason
Oh, okay. I thought you
popping
meant
out of the mirror.
Swimming in the...
I thought you were
right,
watching
right.
the gag reel. Never mind.
Sorry. I know what he's talking about.
Next note, gotta have a shower scene.
Yeah.
Okay. The captain's throat slit could have been so cool. What a shame they totally blew it.
They cut away too soon.
They should have had him lean back further and really show that thing flop open.
Absolutely.
That would have been awesome.
Absolutely. A theory. Jason hates bad acting. And whenever he witnesses bad acting, stabby stabby.
Stabby stabby. We've reached that point where we're now doing callbacks to people's sayings. That's good.
Stabby stabby.
Stabby stabby.
I like stabby stabby. All right, Bill Nye's gonna put that flare gun up crazy guy's ass. Doesn't look like they're gonna make it to New York. Oh, never mind, they're there. What the fuck kind of needle is that? Jesus.
It's one of them. Oh my God, it's funny.
I'm waiting for Robocop to show up.
It was awfully wiggly, that needle. Lots of wiggling.
Savini needed to come back for that effect.
Oh my God, he just got his head punched clean off. Amazing.
Worth the price of
Yes,
admission.
toxic sludge, and that's not even the toxic sludge that fills the sewer. That's the toxic sludge that what's his name? Bill Nye gets
Yes.
dunked in.
Yes. Apparently New York City's covered in toxic sludge.
Where the fuck are all the New Yorkers? Where the fuck is Robocop? Oh, there's all the New Yorkers. All of the electrical is labeled very clearly in this movie. Seriously, under the lake. I don't know if that's code.
The high voltage
yeah,
shit?
It's
Yeah.
50,000 volts exactly. Yes. So it takes 50,000 to resurrect Jason and 6,000 to not kill him on a train track.
Wait, I thought it took 1.21 gigawatts.
It's something like that. Okay. Oh, look, an open manhole. How convenient. What a clever way to be in New York and not have to fuck around with all those extras.
It's true. It's too expensive. They had budget issues.
Yeah, toxic waste. Toxic waste. Oh my God, this is so bad. Summary: lots of kills, no gore. Is there anything redeemable about this movie? I don't know.
You hurt my soul, George. You hurt my soul.
We're gonna try.
He went to New York. And he didn't do a high leg kick with the Rockettes.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
He didn't, pursue his dream of auditioning for a Broadway musical. He didn't even have any pizza.
He didn't have any pizza. Nobody had pizza in this movie.
He did not even confront the naked cowboy. Like, come on. You have to.
Yeah.
He didn't wait in line for any tickets.
What song would Jason choose if he was auditioning for Broadway?
Well, he used Start Spreading the News, New York, New York, in his commercial for this movie.
The trailer, yeah. The best part of this movie is the poster.
Yeah, the poster that they got sued over that they can't put on any of the promotional materials. That is the best part of this movie.
They took the I Love New York icon, the logo, the white poster, and then they had the Jason knife coming through it, so it was spilled open, and the hockey mask was behind it. Looked really cool.
Then they got sued, or threatened with. They got a C&D, so they didn't use it. It's still on Google if you want to look at it.
It's floating around, yeah.
I like the cover art of him looming over the city, but it's not nearly as cool.
No, it's iconic, that image. I mean, the tourist alone, the tourist society should have been like, you know what? Let's just let them use it.
I mean,
yeah.
Let's talk about New York in 1989, right?
It's a shithole.
Not the best time to be downtown in Manhattan. So
that's true.
I mean,
Jason's the best thing that'll happen to you in Times Square back then.
It's either Jason or a high tax on soda. Something's going to clean that place up.
I don't know, the brothels and the peep houses right there that weren't there anymore. During that movie, that was where you don't go when you're there with your family, is at Times Square. So they cleaned it up a bit.
It's way different now.
Yeah.
The way it was portrayed, it was, like I said, it looked like what was the city in Robocop? Was it Detroit?
Yeah.
Or
Delta City.
Yeah.
Detroit.
That's how it was portrayed.
Oh yeah. It was
it was terrible.
But that's how New York was then, man. Downtown.
It was post Biff.
the 42nd Street area.
1985B.
Ironic, because that's the part of the city you had to go to if you wanted to watch Argento movies and movies like this that aren't mainstream. So it's they're featuring themselves. Now, in this era, you have Robocop, which has a very post-apocalyptic feel, kind of like parts of this movie. You have Maniac Cop, which is about a New York police officer who becomes a Jason type guy and does a bunch of killing and stabbing. You have this movie, and then you have Ninja Turtles.
Right.
And it's they're all in the same universe. It's a very weird time. And Batman, 89 Batman, appears in this movie on the poster, which is cool. But also just the Gotham of that era is very much influenced by this New York. Very weird time for New York. You know how I knew this movie was going to be great, guys?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I've told you before, this is my part 3 for Travis, right? This is the first one I saw, taped off USA on a VHS. Thanks, Brian, for bringing it over. Aztec Goldeneye, Brian, brought this over so we could watch it. So I have there's a soft spot in my heart for this movie. But today, revisiting it with lowered expectations, having known the last time I watched it wasn't so fun, hit play on the DVD, Paramount logo, and instead of a ma, right? No dramatic killer mom. No. Instead you get J-A-A, son, un.
Ooh.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a suit mistake
Nope,
right there.
Don't like it. Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Which
no
leads
argument
me
here.
right to my first note.
What?
This movie is terrible.
All caps in his notes.
All
by the way.
caps. This movie is, I think what I actually wrote was, get it out the way. This is a terrible movie. let's write our own. That's what I wrote.
Okay, the opening monologue of this, we were talking about how Part 7's opening just gets it, right?
Yeah.
Tied with or very close to Part 4 for the best summation and introductory part of the movie in any of the franchise. In a franchise where every movie has an introductory part. Like, that's a thing they do.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that wrote this movie, I don't think he saw any of those movies, guys. Because this opening montage is like one part the radio broadcasts from like Day of the Dead or something, like one of those weird zombie movies in the 80s. But then it really has like the feel of a sleazy Cinemax movie. Like, I was waiting for Nico Mastorakis to pop up and just be like, hey, it's Nico, or however a Greek guy would talk. Is he actually Greek? I mean, I assume he's Greek because he shoots movies. You don't know.
Yeah,
Do you guys have
that
any idea?
last name? Definitely.
Nico Mastorakis. Is that? Am I saying it right? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't. It's too bad. His Island of Death by Nico
Island of Death.
Mastorakis. Do not watch that movie on my recommendation, but check it out. It's so gross.
Is he related to Zach Galifianakis?
I don't think so. He did do. He did a bunch of movies. He was one of these guys. Nico. This is the Nico Mastorakis podcast. I'm not even sure I can say his name correctly. I'm afraid I'm saying it wrong. Anyway, Nico, this movie producer / director guy who did a bunch of wacky movies in the 70s and 80s. He did one called In the Cold of the Night, which is like one of the contributory movies to the NC-17 rating, which is fun. Because the MPAA just didn't know what to do if the lady got on top. Like, is that an X rating? We don't know. And so
you still can't see cash and prizes, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, there was no angry pickle in that movie, but they still had trouble. Anyway, if you ever get a chance to see In the Cold of the Night, it's a bonkers, right in this era, 80s flick that's like 2 parts Basic Instinct and 1 part Robocop. I love it. We'll watch it at some point with George because it's so insane. But anyway, this movie starts off like a sleazy late night Cinemax movie, not a Jason movie. Why? Why, George? I need answers.
They were trying something different.
I don't know.
There's a lot of hair metal up front, though. I like that.
I did like the yacht in the lake. The fuck? The yacht in a lake.
I mean, they've got a river that leads to the lake. That guy says that one time in the movie about the river.
Right.
So obviously it's true. Actually, boats of that size that are like not quite yacht size, but like big fancy boats.
It's like 150-foot yacht.
If you guys have seen the show Ozark, right?
Yes, I have. Yes.
They use those rich people have those kind of boats on the Lake of the Ozarks. So I imagine Camp Crystal Lake, or in this movie, it's Crystal Lake Camp because they can't even get the fucking sign right.
It's Camp Crystal Light.
That's good. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so whatever part of New Jersey / Connecticut / California, Camp Crystal Lake. Anyway. Let me draw back my anger for a second because this movie pisses me off a little bit.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Well, speaking of Crystal Lake, the good part about this movie is that they decided to take him out of Crystal Lake, which is a good idea.
He's so good at Crystal Lake.
It's a great idea, but I'm sitting here going, why do you take a great idea again and then ruin it by having zero vision and zero ability to execute that idea? Because, I mean, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, Crystal Lake is a lake. How's there a boat?
They blew it.
Gonna get to New York from a lake.
They blew
now,
it.
where we live, we have Cooper River. It kind of looks like a lake.
Now, what is the longitude and latitude of Cooper River? I think I really need to nail down the geography.
I don't know that shit, but I do know that it's a lake.
I've never seen a yacht on Cooper
What part
River.
of the mailman is Cooper River in?
Just he would be in the
pants area.
The pants knees area.
River in the pants.
Hey now. But I mean, you can understand if it was a tributary of some sort that would go to the lake. I don't know, but it's just not explained.
I think we need a lake expert.
How do you get a fucking boat out of a lake to New York City? How? Why didn't they just think of something else and say, okay, maybe we figure out a way to get him to a boat that's not in the lake? Then that fixes that problem. I don't know. I was so pissed
Well,
off.
he eventually did that anyway. It wasn't like the Lazarus was the same boat as the yacht.
Yeah, it's pretty strange to take a boat to a boat. That seems redundant.
Like I wrote it down. This movie has more holes than Jason's hockey mask.
It
Like
seems
there's just
redundant.
too many fucking holes in this movie.
It seems redundant, and also it's redundant.
It's yeah.
You know what really
I-
hammers your point home is the second redundant. I like that. No, I wouldn't
Not
say
only is it redundant,
I wouldn't say that the movie doesn't have vision. I would say the makers of the movie don't know how to write a budget.
Okay, yeah.
Like
This definitely
the
is
idea
separate
of
from budget
getting
issues.
Jason to New York is like a really good marketing opportunity, especially in the late 80s when it's such a poo hole anyway,
Mhm.
that we might as well just put this horrible he won't. If you put Jason Voorhees in Times Square, nobody'd even notice he was there, right? Like somebody's saying that in marketing meetings in 1988 and 89, and they're not wrong.
Right.
It's just the idea that you could be so bad at planning to make a movie that you would base your ideas around that concept and then not actually get the money to do it is ridiculous. It's
I mean, it kind of reminds me
ridiculous.
of like in '76 when they remade King Kong. They were like, okay, we're just gonna try to figure out how to get him at the top of the Empire State Building. So then they built all the story around or the World Trade Center because it was a new building at the time. They wanted to kind of showcase it. So they changed the whole story just to showcase those buildings. Same thing with King Kong versus Godzilla. They're like, we have a great idea. We want them to fight each other, but we have no idea how this little gorilla is going to be in the same frame with this giant. So let's figure out a way. And then you watch, you're like, oh my God, it's so terrible. It doesn't make sense. But you had a idea, and you did everything wrong to get to that idea. And it's just that's what they did with this movie.
Well, and that's how they
They're
got to the ending of part 5, right? The last chase in part
Yeah.
5 is sweet, but getting there is just a whole bunch of bad decisions and kind of fudged answers and, fuzzy math, as we used to call it in the early aughts. Lots of just round down, round up, get to your conclusion instead of actually building like a cogent path to get there.
Lack of vision.
So guys, Crystal Lake Camp. What? What? Guys, we're in the 8th movie of the franchise. Is there nobody in the in the family of people making this movie that are like, oh guys, it's actually Camp Crystal
Yeah.
Lake. The camp
It's
comes
like the
first.
Niners won at Crystal Stick Park, or was it Candle Park Stick?
Candle Park Stick.
Candle Park Stick.
Stick Candle Park. You guys go to Stick Candle Park? It's great. So I do like that they lit up the new fake Camp Crystal Lake area like it's the parking lot of a gas station in like a high crime area. It's like it's daylight lighting around this area at night with the couple on the
one
boat.
generator.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. That's a fun touch. I'm sure it was an accident. They probably just had a Motel 6 next to a lake somewhere and were just like, oh, hey, put up a new sign. Is it Camp Crystal Lake? No, it doesn't matter. Nobody will notice.
Maybe it's a fake camp, and this is all a reality show, and they just made the sign wrong.
Whoa. Hollow deck.
Mind blown.
Well, they had 50,000 volts to work with.
Yes.
So
Allegedly. I mean, it was 40,000 last time we asked them. It keeps going up. I don't know. So
It's like-
when I was a kid, again, standard definition TV on a taped off TV videotape, I couldn't tell. The kill at the beginning, with the guy that gets the old spear gun through the middle bits, when he retracts that out, there's like tubing from the spear gun. In standard def as a kid, I was convinced I just saw a man get his guts ripped out. Totally
looked
way cooler
terrible.
than what actually happened.
yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, those rubber tubes were misleading.
You really don't get any guts in a Jason movie, do you? Like, up to this point, we haven't seen any intestines.
Well, Dr. Cruz, the kill that didn't make the cut, no pun intended, they showed his guts.
They had some guts. Yeah.
It's kind of surprising, given that you've got zombie movies with guts, like, in the mid-'70s. No, heck, there's an intestine or two in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, the original. They're pulling that shit out and eating it.
So, I mean, we got zombie Jason. Where are the guts? Also, why doesn't he eat brains?
No, he's following the governor's law of not taking his mask off.
Oh, gotcha.
That's right.
He's a sheeple zombie.
He's a sheeple zombie.
Gotcha.
Wake up, sheeple.
Well, he is Tommy Jason.
Yeah.
Don't bring anybody down.
Sorry for bringing you down. How about some Angry Pickle? Cheers, everybody up.
Did we have Angry Pickle?
There was no pickle in this movie at all.
Jason's a giant angry pickle.
Well, that's true. And in the like we were saying in the gag reel, there's an Angry Pickle or two.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Have
man.
to check that out.
I mean, it's a prosthetic, but
it's right up your alley.
Right up my alley. I'm gonna check out some Angry Pickle. I'll be right back.
now, and George, in your notes, you mentioned that you like the name Lazarus. I actually had a note about the name Lazarus too. Let me see here. Lazarus. It's a bit on the nose.
Bit on the nose, yeah.
Oh, and I said I love the New York mountain landscape in the background.
Yeah, it was
New
like,
York, New Jersey,
it's like
Arctic
they
mountains.
took that boat right through upstate New York. It's like they got Alaska in the background. They're talking about going to New York.
Yeah, it's the quickest way to get to Manhattan.
Right, it's like
We're in
on a boat.
sometimes you got to go south on the interstate to get somewhere north because you got to hit the interchange. Coming out of
Right.
Crystal Lake, New Jersey, you've got to make sure to hit Niagara Falls on your way back to Manhattan.
Exactly right. It's the best way to get to Manhattan.
It's the Albany Channel.
Think of all that momentum from going down a waterfall. It just pushes you all the way to the ocean.
That would have been great if they like took the boat through Niagara. And you're sitting there with a map. You're like, this isn't happening.
I would have been happy. I'd have been happy if they just took the boat to New York.
Yeah.
Like that'd have been cool for a movie about New York.
Are you saying this movie would have been better if the writers had maps?
No, the movie would have been better if they didn't make it.
Here's a Dan fixes it idea. Why don't you just do part 8, Jason on a boat, ending with pulling into New York Harbor, and then Jason 9, Jason in Manhattan?
Because budget-wise, that's why you got Jason on a boat.
But you could have used the money from Jason on a boat, part 8, to fund Jason taking Manhattan.
They're not going to get much money from Jason on a boat.
I don't know, man. It's a fun movie.
Maybe.
If you don't have the bait and switch of you think he's going to be in New York the whole time, like slaughtering people at Madison Square Garden while the Knicks lose again. Were the Knicks bad back then? I know they're bad now.
Yeah. Hodder would have been way too short to be in a Knicks scene.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked.
I think. It looks silly. It look like Harry Henderson's.
It'd been your Chucky moment, right? He would have fit in the in between the legs down at the bottom of that basketball poster.
Poor Kane.
Oh, poor Kane.
So short. He's a short, angry pickle.
But, okay, so guys, let's just assume for a second that we found a way. We haven't, but let's pretend we did. We found a way to accept the fact that he gets in a boat, mysteriously travels to what is supposed to be like, I don't know, a coastal harbor in New Jersey on its way to New York. Let's just all pretend that we're cool with that.
Okay.
Jason rides up an anchor looking kind of cool. I'm not going to take away from the image of him coming out of the water. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does the Jason laugh again. Only worse than in part 7. My note for this, Jason laugh? What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? And
all in caps.
All caps. WTF, WTF, WTF. Why is he laughing?
I think it's just bad placement.
Does he have is he getting a little tickle? Is he like, hee, I'm on a rope?
It's because he feels clever.
Well, he did see the hockey mask, right?
No, this is when he first gets out of the water.
I first get out of the water.
It's supposed to be like, ha, 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 I've found more kids to kill. But it comes off more like, wee, I'm enjoying this ride. Or it's the Garth climbing the rope in gym class.
Like when we used to climb the rope in gym class.
I honestly think that that's a total mistake. It's just a bad placement of a sound wave. I don't think that was purposely done.
Are you sure? Because I'm 90% sure. I'll put the sound clip in here.
If it is, then they all need to lose their jobs. Well, they need to anyway because they made this movie.
It's a laugh.
Please
man.
don't be real.
It's so real.
Is this real life?
But at least we have the deckhand. He's telling us Doom is here. We needed some Doom in our Jason movie. It's been a while.
It has been.
You're all doomed.
You're all doomed. There's plenty of those guys on the corners in New York City, so I'm surprised they didn't do that instead of the deckhand doing it.
How did the deckhand know that this boat was going to be doomed?
I think he says it to everybody.
Broken clocks, right? Twice a day.
I guess.
He's
But, like,
fake
at
news.
least-
He's like New York City fake news.
At least the first guy actually, there was an actual, thing that happened and a legend that he was referring to at the specific lake. Like, this guy
They're a boat arriving in the New York harbor in the middle of the night. They're doomed.
How does this guy know they're doomed?
Maybe he's not
He says
talking
it
about
before-
Jason at all. He's just like, oh, you
Talking about
wimpy
you're in
high
New York
school
City.
kids are going to go down to like Times Square. You're all doomed.
Yeah, you're gonna buy crack before you leave.
Yes, maybe that's
Yeah.
the explanation. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm here for. Now, is it tradition? I'm not a big tourist, right? I've been to New York. I don't plan on going back anytime soon, but I might if the right motivate. If the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl in New York, maybe I'd go after COVID. I like New York. I'll go to New York again. This is totally apropos of nothing. I'm very tired. Guys, I am not a big time travel guy, tourist guy, but is it the tradition when you're about to go visit a famous place that you give the girl you like a souvenir of the place you haven't been yet?
Yes.
That was confusing as hell.
Yeah, like if I was going to go to Seattle, I would go online and purchase a Space Needle necklace, give it to my wife when we were on the plane.
Or an Antifa t-shirt.
Hey, honey, I'm so excited to take you to Paris this summer. So to celebrate, I bought you an Eiffel Tower keychain. What I had to do, though,
But I didn't.
I had to call a guy that lives in France to go buy it from the Eiffel Tower, and then we had to airmail it here. It was really expensive. But now, to anticipate our trip to go to the thing, what?
Yeah,
Why?
You can just buy it when you get
Why
there.
did he give her a new?
No. Here's this Eiffel Tower necklace. I didn't buy it in France. I bought it here.
Yeah, I bought it off a guy.
Because that's more special.
He
more
didn't have
special.
a store. He just had a trench coat full of souvenirs.
Right.
It's like a knockoff Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, he's got like a table at the top of the
Who's
train subway.
Who's another less well-known engineer from that time period?
It's the Eiffel Tower.
It's that tower. Yeah, it's that tower.
It's like one E on the Eiffel
The
Tower.
Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, the Eiffel, one F.
It's the Statuette of Liberty.
Anyways, yeah, that's normal, Dan. Yeah.
Okay.
A statue. It's a statue.
Just so we're clear that that's a thing that people do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't buy anything for anybody, so.
Hey, Travis,
I wouldn't know.
do you need
Yes.
to like take a break? Hit the bathroom, get a snack, open a drink, anything like that?
No,
'Cause
why you want to talk about
Next to my notes, it says George and Dan talk guitars for an hour.
it? Oh, shit.
So I thought we would just give you a break.
Yeah, if you
that's-
wanna-
Or-
That's not happening.
Go grab a pickle in the fridge. something. You can
know.
watch the Angry Pickles on the on the.
I'm going to Google it.
Just use one of those incognito browsers because, mess up your Google ad history if you.
Can you guys do that at 1?
So here's the thing. Maybe I just need a new, because the segment comes up enough. We need a new little musical intro for the Remedial Guitar Class podcast, where we teach
Gosh.
Travis the nitty gritty of guitar hardware and tone.
Not happening.
So George,
Why?
Huh?
What?
Because I have 2 left hands. It's just not happening.
You don't have to play.
Yeah.
Leo Fender never played a guitar.
George hasn't made a movie yet.
It's true.
It's true.
True story.
I assume you have. I haven't seen your
Yeah, just so
iCloud.
far
I don't
ahead
know
of
what
me.
you do, man. I guess I have seen your skateboard
As long as I get to do a
videos.
podcast where I explain the history of garage model kits.
No, we
Exactly.
we have to find something that me and you, Travis, are well versed in, but Dan is not.
Dan is
and
not.
We'll do that podcast.
Call
We haven't found that thing yet, though.
trash New Jersey style, like just
Geography.
New Jersey
New Jersey geography.
da 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 maps.
Da-da. We're in the knees today.
Oh no!
Get your backpack ready.
So George,
Unbelievable.
you met JJ. She's not in the movie very long. She does a pretty good job of faking it when she's playing the lead bit at the beginning.
She tries.
Her chord
She
work,
tries.
not so good. I wasn't buying her fake rhythm guitar playing later nearly as much as I was buying her fake lead play at the beginning. Like, her lead play was good enough that I thought, this lady actually plays lead guitar. Like, she may not be playing live, but she knows how to play a guitar.
Right. She was like kind of like staying in a box, like moving like you would move when playing lead guitar.
Yeah, there was a method to the madness of the notes she was picking with the left hand, and her bending technique was pretty good. I was digging it.
Her whammy bar technique was fantastic, and at the right time.
Yeah, her whammy stutter was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then when it cut,
although her whammy bar was coming out of her tone pot for some reason.
Actually, you know what?
Well, that sounds good.
It was not coming out of the tone pot. I did a full-on CSI investigation today because I knew this would come up. George, are you sitting down?
Yeah.
Do you know where the prop department put her whammy bar?
It looks like
in her tone pop.
It's in like the knob area.
Okay, go pull up a picture of a current production model Gibson Flying V, which is what that guitar was. They didn't want to tell us. I guess Gibson didn't want to pay him the 10 grand or whatever, so they taped over all the Gibson stuff with pink tape. But check out what's going on down by that triangle of tone and volume knobs.
It's this pickup switch.
They put the props department, somebody put a whammy bar into the pickup selector switch. What? What? Guys, what? Now, for our listeners that don't play guitar, and for Travis, if he's still listening, the whammy bar is the thing that...
I know what that is.
You know, when Van Halen would do it, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Or in the case of this song, they kind of like push it down so fast that it kind of stutters the note a little bit, which is...
It's
a cool 80s thing. The whammy bar on a guitar is a mechanical device. It's literally just a lever that makes the strings looser and then tighter and then looser and then tighter.
Right.
But it has to have contact with the thing that the strings are in to make them move. It's a simple device.
Which is called the bridge.
The bridge.
Gotcha.
Now, those Gibson guitars have a 2-piece bridge. You can put a whammy bar on a Gibson bridge. That's a thing you can do. And they opted not to do that, and instead they just jammed it into the front of the guitar so that it would be visible. What the hell, guys?
It kind of
makes
looks
about
like
as much sense as this movie.
It kind of looks like a what the heck is that Fender? Is it a Jazz Master or a Jaguar?
One of them
type of tremolo where the bar actually does go underneath the pickguard and all that action happens underneath the pickguard. It kind of looks like that, but I also know that was a Flying V, and that there's none of that going on.
Are we talking about the Mighty Ducks?
The Flying V, yes.
I mean, if you were putting this into like anatomical terms, they put the whammy bar like in the taint. It's like it's close.
Hey now.
It's regionally in the ballpark, but it wouldn't do anything there. It would just maybe break off if you tried too hard. Oh, guys. It's disconcerting. No, what actually makes it worse, George, I know you didn't notice this because I spent way too much time looking at frames of this movie today to try to figure out what was going on there. There is one shot of her playing in the stairwell when she's doing her cool music video, bad rhythm guitar playing. I'm assuming that they just didn't clear the music that they originally intended, and they just replaced it with something else, and that's why it looks so bad. Because she looks like she's chording chords. She knows what's happening somewhat. Anyway, at one point, for an inexplicable reason, there are 2 chords plugged into her guitar. 1 cord plugged into the input jack, and a second cord plugged in where the whammy bar used to be. Why? Why?
I didn't notice that.
And then they switch back, and by the time he cues up the baseball swing, it's back to the way it was. Why did they do that? What is going on? Huh. I will tell you, though, baseball swing with a flying V. I kind of dig the baseball swing with the flying V. So much so, a poster of it is above my computer right now. I'm looking at it. And actually, on this poster, they put the whammy bar in the correct wrong spot, just like the movie.
The correct wrong spot.
So that's kind of
switch
fun.
Spot.
Yeah.
That's a terrible place for a switch, too.
Oh, yeah. I'd never... No, flying Vs are not for me. You can't sit down with the darn things. You have to, like, straddle your leg with... it's just...
You can sit down with them.
But you have to straddle it has to bridge your leg or else it just slides right off.
Yeah.
And then it ends up in the taint, and we're back to that problem again.
Yeah. You have, it's definitely it's got to have a terrible neck dive. The flying V.
I would imagine it'd be a neck. What's the opposite of a dive? Like a body dive. Like it's just like, woo, heavy body. Like the opposite of an SG that has a real bad head dive. This would be a head. Hello. I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah, man, the heavy body with that extra extended low V. I think we've really lost the audience. We should probably bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah, cut all that out.
How's your angry pickle doing there, Crotch Travis?
It's doing all right.
What is Crotch Travis from? I don't get...
Is that when I want to talk like this?
It was when his first microphone stand had a blue pill moment.
Oh, right. Crotch Travis.
He was talking to us through his scrot.
Shit.
I remember that.
I was just talking to you through my Quado.
Oh, shit.
Bad reference.
Love it.
George doesn't know what that is.
Oh, but he will. George.
He will know.
Why in some shots is the swimming kid flashback Jason completely normal, and in other shots he's got the offset eye and has some makeup, and then sometimes he's just like a little monster kid? Why can't I get a consistent swimming Jason monster kid?
I don't know.
Is it because the movie's not very good?
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Might be.
Yeah, that's why.
Man.
Hence why I said this movie has more holes than Jason's hockey mask. It didn't make sense to me either. I was like, all right, they're all visions, but why are they... She doesn't really know who he is, and she's seeing him in 3 different versions.
She does know who he is.
Yeah, but she's seeing him...
subconsciously, because her Bill Nye uncle
was telling her stories.
Told her the story in the boat before he pushed her into the...
But why is she seeing 3 versions of him?
No, I don't know.
It's not explained.
Maybe it's a comment on the inaccurate but very real attempts at the human psyche to take trauma and deal with it in creative ways, some of which the frontal lobe can't possibly understand. No, I don't.
I think it would have been better.
I think it's just a shitty movie is what it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think it's probably just shitty.
with its Eiffel Towers and its statuettes of liberty.
Think about how, like what I said for part 7, think about how it would have at least shown some kind of effort if they would have connected these 2 psychiatrists with that group from part 5 and connected all these characters to that camp.
Maybe that's a problem, though. And here's why I would suggest it would be a problem, having not actually thought about this yet. What I don't like about a lot of movies and TV shows is that after a certain progression through the beginning plot, right? The first 100 episodes that you actually had to sketch out when you got the network to agree to do your show. When you get past that period and you start kind of, where do we go from here?
Right.
It always ends up circling back to this large group of people that were at the beginning unrelated. Now, by this point, it's like a closed-off little family. Case in point, Star Wars. Not a huge Star Wars fan. I'm coming around because I have kids, and it's fun to see them enjoy these universes through wide children eyes. You know, it's okay. It gives me a new perspective on a thing I always thought was kind of lame. But the idea that everybody is just either related to these 4 people or they don't matter and they don't have the force. Like, it's lazy storytelling mixed with like this weird like family reunion syndrome where all of a sudden by part 8 we're all just we've got
I don't
this
think
one
they need
thing.
to do that. I mean, with the Star Wars thing, it's a Skywalker story, so you're going to have family connection. With this, I'm just saying, I guess because I know you're not a fan of the Marvel universe.
I mean, I'm not an anti-Marvel person.
So then you understand that with good writers and a good production group and CEOs, they work really hard to even retrofit things and continue a story or take one character and fit them into another story that 10 years ago they weren't in the same story, but they figured out a way to loop it around to where, okay, this works because these two things are related, and now that helps the whole story. So if they're able to figure that out,
it's acceptable because they didn't trample on any important part of the story while doing that.
Well, they sat down and they hashed it out, and they have 15 to 20 people who are like, okay, this is what this character is about, this one is about, and then they all kind of do their own thing, but these things are the ties that bind them, so let's try to figure out a way to tell the story from 9 different angles, and they all end up in the same story at the end. With what I'm saying is, they spent a lot of time working on the Jarvis character and how his psyche is scarred, and they pushed it far enough to the point where they were going to say, okay, he's going to take over this mantle and he's going to be the new Jason, and then they never touch on it. But then there's parts in the successive movies that you can tie back to that, and they had the chance when they introduced Tina. Here's a character who he would have met in that group, and then you have this doctor in part 8 who is fucked up and has a terrible way of teaching children how to deal with things, to the point where he's throwing them in the water and stuff, teaching them, telling them ghost stories and then throwing them in the water. Like, that's a way to create psychopaths. Like, you're basically not helping. You're actually helping your profession by almost feeding into these kids' fears and whatever. So if they were able to connect all those characters in a good way, not in a half-ass way, but in a good way, it would have at least tied the whole story together.
Wait a minute. Travis, am I understanding that you're trying to say that Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, is not as well developed as the 3-hour, I guess 6-hour, 2-part epic that was the last Avengers Phase 3 movie? Is that what I'm understanding from what you just said?
Not saying that. Just saying people need to take more pride in their work. That's all.
Oh, man.
And it's like, okay, it's 1987, 88, 89. You have that time. There's nothing else going on in your studios.
Hey.
So sit down and figure it out.
Travis, I feel like you're really underselling the importance of American classics like Coming to America and Big Top Pee-wee that Paramount was shoving down the throats of the willing public.
Yeah, but that's different.
I mean, I'm waiting for
that's a proven director, and I mean, it's John
where
Landis.
is my Friday the 13th Part 9 Jason versus Pee-wee? I mean, ironically, it would also take place on 42nd Street in New York.
Then you would have really got a good Jason laugh.
Oh, my.
Oh, my baby. Oh, my darling.
And you get some angry pickle.
A lot of angry pickle.
Oh. Hey, so we watched a movie today. We should probably talk about it. George,
yeah.
I want to know what you were thinking when you saw Charles McCullough, staunch father figure, victimized by what had to be probably the first, and I'm going to say last time a person in New York was ever set up by an underage or nearly underage blonde girl with a video camera for evidence. I'm glad that never happened again to anyone in New York. Did you find that scene was very nice?
It was, I don't know.
Okay, so I know a little bit about what you're talking about,
So the
Dan.
the dad guy.
I know a little bit.
Just a teeny little angry bit.
Just a little bit. I heard a little bit. Yeah, so what about it? Did I think about that?
Were you thinking about the crypt keeper himself opening up the crypt for that poor actress when Charles McCullough is victimized by the biology project ambush?
Is he making a political reference?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, sometimes the stars align, guys. And we watch a movie that just happens to time very well.
The timing was perfect. It didn't cross my mind, but now it is crossing my mind.
It's the same exact scenario down to the, hidden camera. Yeah, it's good. It's hilarious.
I have to look into the actual thing that just happened recently.
Ugh, it's so gross.
I don't know what happened there except for...
The goggles, they do nothing. I don't know if you watch The Simpsons, but you're going to need your eye bleach ready, man. It's not stuff you want to see with your eyeballs.
Oh, even better.
Hey, but what do you think about the biology project, apropos of any parallels to the real world?
I thought it was contrived.
Yeah. You know what else is contrived? Friday the 13th, Part 8. I did like that you mentioned the shower scene in your notes, because we do every now and then see glimmers of what used to be in these franchises.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, it just took Part 3's no nudity or barely any nudity shower scene and did it again. I mean, it happened. It is funny if you watch.
That might have been one of the best kills, though, of this movie.
Did you? How many times did you watch
Mirror?
The
Mm-hmm.
Mirror?
Yeah, that was heavily edited.
How many times?
How many did you rewind and watch that scene at all? Because the thing I noticed today, now you know how you love it when I update you on the resolution of my movies. This
I do.
Is just a 2K scan in the new box
Just
set,
2K?
so you should be able to see it on the Blu-ray that you've got. It's obviously a stunt double that does the straight up just football tackle head first into the mirror. Her wig game is on point.
Nice.
If by on point I mean it's such a bad wig that it made me smile, so I had to go back and watch it again.
I'm gonna go back and watch it right now. Shoot.
I'm surprised that disc still exists. I thought that would have been in the trash can when I got here.
It's not that bad. I'll tell you, both 7 and 8.
Come on.
Both, if you come into these movies, 7 and 8.
That's like saying syphilis is not that bad.
If you come into syphilis with too high of an expectation, you're going to be disappointed. But if you come in remembering the last time that Travis gave you syphilis, it was really bad, the second time's not so bad.
Not so bad. It's
I enjoyed my watch of Part 8 today more than I have in a decade. Because I came in thinking, oh, God, I hate this movie. And then, I still do.
Well, again, you have nostalgia for it, so nostalgia helps.
Well, and little stuff like the horrible wig that the stunt lady's wearing as she just goes straight head first into the mirror.
She's kind of attractive in a bad 80s blonde kind of way. He's watching it at 1.5. That's pretty funny. But her tats are not attractive at all.
Her tats?
Yeah, she
You mean the
goofy,
Sharpie?
as The Rock would call them Mickey Mouse tattoos. Yeah, the Sharpie stuff.
Well, I mean, that was just her biology project, man.
I know, but they look like the stuff that The Undertaker has on them.
Those are real tattoos, though, and The Undertaker is amazing. So shut your mouth.
But I did like when The Rock used to make fun of him. She looks familiar. I don't know where I know her from.
I think you've seen her in Friday the 13th Part 8.
I have to check out her IMDb. He looks like Rob Lowe's son.
I can't wait to see this wig. She's actually kind of smart, though.
This would have been a good way to homage Psycho.
She did it kind of smart because she closed the door slow and quiet.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
And
but
then Kane. Wait, that's a wig? Yeah, that's bad. That's like Norman Bates' wig.
45 years old.
Yeah, that's a total body double right there.
I wonder how many stunt women had to audition for
nudity?
the like, hey, we're gonna put you on camera. You're gonna be nude. You're not gonna get any kind of like additional payment for this. Oh, and you're gonna have to run headfirst into a glass mirror and just take
Yeah.
a fall like a champ. Like,
In your skivvies.
it's a hell of a stunt, man. I mean, whoever that lady is, she did a hell of a job. But the wig department kind of let her down. But, you know, she probably
Yeah.
had some extra padding in there, to be fair. Like,
Padding in there, yeah.
you had to do
shit.
something because
hold on. Check out the sync move. The sync moves when she hits it.
Oh shit, she really went all out.
No, that's
She moved-
classified as like a Home Alone stunt. Whereas a kid, you're like, man, that looks so cool. I wonder why. And when you're an adult, you go, oh God, they really did that. That's why it looks
yeah,
so
she
good.
hit that sink. She hit that sink hard enough to move it.
Yeah, it's a hell of a stunt. It really is. I think it goes underappreciated because it's so fast. But wow, and the wig, holy moly!
And he's like, I don't want to look at myself. I want some glass.
There is an extended cut of that kill on the special features. It's just basically just more of her just full of glass shards. It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Why? He's got his back turned to her. He's smashing the
She
mirror.
could have gotten out.
He's trying to pick up a piece of glass. It just, the door is wide open. Leave.
Well, she's got
Run.
head trauma, man. You remember what happened in Chainsaw when that lady
Texas,
got bopped on the
yeah.
head? Like, head trauma's real. If you ever get a chance to watch Dario Argento's Door into Darkness, the TV show that he did in the 70s, it's actually on Shudder now. If you want to pay for a subscription there and watch a bunch of Argento, there's one of them involves head trauma to a male character that's very realistic. Like, that guy's just out and like he needs a doctor. It's really good acting. You know, you don't usually in these movies it's like, oh, my head hurts and now I am slow. This guy's just like dead and probably his brain is swelling and they probably need to get him to a doctor. It's really scary. It comes across as scary. You gotta watch it.
Shudder.
Shudder. Man.
Shudder. I want to get that.
Argento.
Argento. Shudder. Door into Darkness. Do it. It's cool. And Tenebre's on there. Watch that too. Tenebrae. So, George, how hard did you laugh when Jason saw his own face of sorts on a billboard?
I didn't.
By that point, he was crying.
Oh.
I didn't laugh.
Were you cursing Travis and I's names and making little voodoo dolls and stabbing them with things?
I did feel a little weird on my way over.
Not quite.
A little tingly in the nether regions.
Oh, my.
But I'd stab you there anyway.
Stabby, stabby.
Yeah. Jason on the billboard. That was cute. Next.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Moving on.
It's like,
There were some really good visual scenes that they blew it. But I mean, there were some really nice things that were set up. There was nice framed imagery, but it was just, to me, I'm just sitting there going, you could totally tell that they have no budget, they have no vision, no anything. They just want to get him to New York to try to sell tickets. That's all they want to do.
why don't they have like the national hockey goalie competition in Times Square?
And they're all wearing Jason masks.
Yeah. And that would be really terrifying for all the people that got off that boat.
Do you know how much money it costs to build a bunch of hockey masks? I mean, you'd have to spend tens of dollars to make a bunch of hockey masks.
Tens.
It would never
Tens of
work.
dollars.
Well, they were supposed to have 2/3 of this movie was supposed to be in New York, and they wound up not even doing 10 minutes.
15 minutes.
So you can tell they had budget problems. They weren't making a shit ton of masks.
Oh, I was just kidding.
But that would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
That would have been worth it.
Would have been like a 1960s Batman episode. But it would have been hilarious. Speaking of all the errant and out of control punching of one of those Batman 60s big brawls between all the look-alike Batmans and the look-alike Mr. Freezes and the "It's me, chum" when Robin tries to punch the real Batman. You guys have all seen that, right? Just me?
Yeah.
Okay, forget it. Anyway, Julius, guys, Julius, the hero of this movie, if you ask me.
Yes.
You know what was missing from that scene?
Which scene?
A pal burst.
Oh, like a pow and a
When he
biff and a...
punched
When his head comes off.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. It's so good, but so bad.
It's terrible.
So, back in 2009, guys. Remember 2009?
Yeah, remember it well.
Vaguely.
A while ago. Friday the 13th Films.com ran a DVD contest where they wanted you to talk about your favorite scene from Part 7 or Part 8. And Remedial Dan himself, that's me, actually won DVD copies of Part 7 and Part 8 because my description of Julius in his fantastic fight with Jason was the most like overwrought and silly entertaining one they got, so they picked me. So thanks,
There you
Friday
go.
the 13th Films. I still have those DVDs,
Wow.
and now I talk about them on a
Look at
podcast.
You're like a celebrity and shit.
Oh, I mean, there's 3 or 4 people that are probably pretty mad that I'm still, they wanted
It's
they
like when
wanted
I-
it to be more random. They didn't like that it was funny.
It's like when I won a teddy bear off a radio station for my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. It's good shit.
What did you win for the Crotch Travis?
a deeper Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Holy moly. But I do love Julius. I love the idea of finally someone trying to go hand to hand. And I also like the kind of dismissive way that Jason just like takes it until he's bored. And then
Is he wearing like a jogging suit too? Like totally 90s stereotypical. I'm trying to remember if he's wearing a jogging suit.
he's got
Not
he's
Jason.
got
Julius. George is looking at me like Jason's wearing a jogging suit. I'm like, I don't know.
Hold on. Let's go plus 30 on this bitch.
Let's check that one out in an instant replay.
Let's go plus 30 on this bitch. And skip right to that part.
Skip to the loo.
But yeah, he's got like this whole track thing going on.
This is gonna be the
There you
longest
go.
podcast ever. Yeah, that whole disco scene was supposed to take place in New York. There were so many
Here,
things.
let's just look at Julius here when they're
yeah, he's wearing
getting their weapons
He's
together.
wearing a what do you call it? A Flava Flav jumpsuit.
Here's the thing. Imagine being the screenwriter and writing these epic scenes in New York, and you've got this whole like Studio 54 meets Friday the 13th scene in your mind, and it's more crowded than that pool scene in Nightmare 2, and you got people dancing and having it, and they're so busy that nobody's really noticing the horror that certain people are. And then imagine looking forward to seeing this movie, getting to that scene, and then it's just literally him and Kelly Hugh on
Yeah,
a dance floor.
That's it. When I saw this coming out, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see A, B, C, D. And then they never do any of them.
What were the
That
A, B,
kill-
C, and D? I think we could.
No, wait.
let's
Before
just-
we get to that, though, I think that prom or whatever, that dance floor scene kind of felt a little bit like Phenomena with the music, like
the
going.
chaos going on.
Yeah, the chaos, the chaotic music, whatever going on.
like a sensory
I kinda-
overload kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool idea, but
I think the execution
Yeah.
is pretty good if you look at it as a fan of like stunt work, because
I didn't.
the way he
yeah,
just
I
tosses her on the floor and the landing that actress had to make, whoever the stunt double was, I mean, ow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like damn. But yeah, it's just imagining what they had envisioned when they wrote it versus what they finally
yeah.
did.
Definitely. Like I was sitting there, I pictured either like with the club scene, like Jason going into a nightclub full of like ravers or whatever, and just
I want to see his
Going
interaction
off.
with the bouncer.
yeah. Oh, that would have been amazing to see him
Mm.
try to get into a club. Like I was picturing like Terminator when they all end up at that club and
Yeah.
they find Sarah. Like it would have been great to see Jason deal with a bouncer. That would have been amazing. But I also thought of like American Werewolf in London, that chaotic scene after he breaks out of the theater. Like that's what Jason should have done, either on the subway and just mowed some mothers down, like talking head count 30 easily.
That would be crazy.
Mowed everybody down, or in Times Square. Like I know it would have been impossible to, stop traffic and all that stuff. But with editing and then build something at a stage, you could have done something really cool where you edited, field footage of Times Square and Jason mowing some people down in Times Square. You could reenact that. But it would have been, to me, the payoff would have been him just taking out dozens. Like, I thought that when he comes out of he's standing in Times Square and they do that whole, pan around and he's looking around, you kind of think to yourself, what is he thinking? He's thinking, look at all these people. I must do this. Like, he should have had a total rampage. And it never happened. I'm like, wow.
Or maybe he's looking around at all the freaks and geeks around him and he's just like, I'm home.
I'm home. Nah, I wanted to see him. Stuck in a train would have been really cool because it would have had that alien type, everybody's kind of compressed in a little container kind of feel, and they have nowhere to go, and they just have to take it.
I wonder if it would have been, because there's a lot of like slasher and proto-slasher movies on trains. I just wonder if it would have felt. I mean, in a lot of ways,
done it in the train station.
They could have just gone back and been like, "Hey, what worked in all these old train movies? Okay, let's do that with Jason, but not credit him." That would have worked fine.
Well, they kind of do it in Predator 2, and it was kind of cool where he wipes out an entire train full of people, and it's like, to me, that would have been a great Jason thing. Just to watch him, just like a machine, just mow people down. That movie's missing it big time.
As it is, though, I really like the Times Square stuff.
Me too.
It works. I love the lift up to the mask to the punks.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, that just always tickles me. Even now, it's so funny.
I like when he kicks the boombox. That's, to me, ultimate asshole Jason.
Turn off that garbage. That's Tommy Jason.
Like,
Tommy Jason don't like that new
Tommy
music.
Jason.
Need some Hank Williams. Hank Williams makes Tommy Jason happy.
I like how everyone in New York doesn't even think twice about some guy running through completely soaking wet in a hockey mask walking down the street. Like, nobody wants anything to do with him. Like, they don't think, what the heck is going on here. They're not, like, curious.
They're not even phased.
This is the Northeast. We don't, like, if you want to run around with a hockey mask, go ahead.
So be it.
You know what they're thinking the whole time, George? They're thinking,
does he have Broadway tickets?
Welcome to New York.
Welcome to New York.
But I think that, again, that would have come into play with the interaction with the bouncer. You would have been able to get that attitude from the guy. Like, he would not have been scared of Jason. And it would have been a good little northern, Northeast kind of face-off to where you get that fuck you kind of attitude.
Yeah, it'd be like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right, you got, bring it,
I really like the diner scene, the fight.
Yeah.
Jason on Jason violence. That's pretty cool.
Jason on Jason. Yeah, that's right.
What happened there?
You're talking about the Jason from a future Jason movie being in this movie?
Yeah, the guy that runs up with the pot of coffee that gets thrown into the wall is the guy who ends up playing Jason in Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, word up.
Pretty fun. Yeah, when that's the best trivia of a movie, though, I don't know. No, I actually I like this movie. It's fun to rag on it, but I like probably 60% of the movie, which, given how much we've made fun of it tonight, may not come across. But you know what I don't like about this movie? Gang members, racial stereotyping, heroin, and rape. Those are all things I don't need in my Jason movie. I mean, we haven't had any kind of sexual element to Jason or any killer in a movie since part 3 with the weird flashback that might have been rapey.
Right.
And that's like the lowest point of the franchise for me to that point. And here we are again, and I hate everything that happens in fake New York. All that Vancouver, New York nonsense with the gang members.
Right.
I hate that movie. Really, once they leave Times Square, I could just turn it off because there is nothing left for me to like after that part.
Did I hear it correctly? Did they say that the original ending in this movie, he was supposed to grope? Jason was supposed to grope the final girl?
Ew.
And they decided not to do that because it would have made Jason too human?
It almost fits with what this director's understanding of the character seems to be. Like, if you
Right.
notice the kills leading up to this, there's a lot more like, I'm in the room, you know I'm here, and I'm taking a long time to kill you because I want to hear you yell, no, don't do it.
Right.
It's gross. It's not in any other Jason movie. But there's like this permeation of like grossness to the way that Jason does all the kills. And so it wouldn't surprise me if someone threw that around. I've never heard that. It's gross. It's real gross. But like, the people making this movie made some gross choices, so maybe they did and somebody talked them out of it, I hope. I don't know.
Yeah. To me, the only thing worse than rape in this movie is Jason's face. I really...
You know, there's one
And-
shot when he's chasing her down the subway, or I guess the sewers, right? Right past the Ninja Turtles, where the lighting hits just right and his weird, like, the kind of jaw that's lower than it should be and, like, not perpendicular to his face, right? Like the saggy jaw thing hits the light just right, and it's creepy as hell. But then another step forward and you see the rest of it and you're just like, oh no, he looks like a dummy.
It looks like a jack-o'-lantern. Like it's like, I don't know. It bothered the shit out of me.
I mean, paint him
And then
orange
when-
and you've got a franchise crossover.
Hey-o. It does. It looks like the pumpkin mask in Halloween 3. It's just, it's such a bad design. And I don't know if Nicotero is involved in part 8.
I'm just gonna say
But
no. Somebody was
I hope
listed
not.
in the credits. I didn't recognize the special
Okay.
makeup department guy. It's not anybody I'd ever seen.
Because I know Nicotero is like involved in some of the terrible Jason or Michael Myers masks. So, just saying.
Turns out it's hard to make a Michael Myers mask. That's why.
Apparently, yeah.
But no, none of these names jump out to me.
But
as
if it was
anybody
the
that we recognize.
Jason face from even Freddy vs. Jason when his mask comes off, that's a pretty good looking face. Even if they did that, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this thing.
Yeah, I'd love to hear their thought process on.
He looks like a
What we're
HR
doing.
Puff and Stuff Muppet. So bad.
Yeah.
It's like they just had an extra puppet from Meet the Feebles, and they were like, "All right, throw a hockey mask on it. We got our Jason."
That's funny.
Can we watch that movie? That probably shouldn't be part of the mainstream, but
What, the HR Puff and Stuff?
Meet the Feebles. Have you ever seen
Oh.
Meet the Feebles?
No.
Meet the Feebles. It's Peter Jackson. Okay, check this out, Travis. You might want to check this out. Peter Jackson making like a Muppet kind of movie, but like
Yes, I'm aware of this.
yes. So George, you've seen the Muppets. You're aware of like Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy.
Yes.
Now imagine if the Muppet Show took place in 80s New York and involved things like sodomy and AIDS.
Yes.
And it's a musical.
Sounds,
And it's
It's
directed by
musical.
Peter
It's a-
Jackson, who did the freaking Lord of the Rings.
sounds like Rent.
It's
Rent with
yeah.
Puppets, directed by Peter Jackson.
Rent with Puppets.
I love it.
It's awesome. We
Avenue-
should watch it.
Avenue Q without the humor.
Yeah, Avenue Q, but like with a darker sense of humor
Yeah.
and no taste.
And no taste.
Yeah, Avenue Q with less taste. It's amazing. You have to watch it. I will watch it anytime you guys want to. I that movie's wonderful.
Yeah.
You may think it
So-
very odd of me, but I really like that movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Good luck finding it on DVD, though. I don't think it's had a release in quite some time.
Peter Jackson has it on his website, probably.
It's so good,
Not.
man. That's one, in the great like pile of movies I would show people just to be like, hey, you've got to see this weird movie. Town That Dreaded Sundown, Lucio Fulci's Zombie, Deep Red, and Meet the Feebles.
Crazy Cray.
Crowd pleasers, man. You got to stick with the crowd pleasers.
Meet the Feebles.
Meet the Feebles.
Maybe we could just email him and ask him if we could borrow his copy.
Oh, I'm sure I
Who,
could
Peter
find
Jackson?
it on eBay.
He's probably completely accessible.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not up to anything. What's he do?
He's not doing anything. He works for Paramount.
No, actually, isn't that New Line? Wasn't New Line the Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Which is hilarious because New Line started off so
Well,
crass.
Yeah.
So, George, we come to the end. We've got Muppet Meet the Feebles face Jason in the Ninja Turtles goo
So bad.
without David Warner
The
to save
secret
it.
of the ooze.
Yeah, there is no secret to this ooze. That guy tells you it's
Yeah.
coming, and then it comes.
So bad.
What do you think about fully restored to childhood form Jason?
It makes about as much sense as fully restored Dad from Part 7.
Okay. I think I'm getting an idea of what George expects from these movies.
Now he expects nothing.
Now he expects very little. Okay. Good deal.
I think our job is done here.
I mean, yeah. I will tell
To
you though,
show the downfall of a franchise, basically.
when you guys finally get into the game, there is a lot of aesthetic stuff from Part 7 and Part 8 that end up in the Jason game. Most notably, Part 8 Jason has the fire axe, which is amazing. The flare gun, you'll run across that all the time. It's super fun. You get to shoot Jason in the face with it.
Nice.
There's the shotgun that there were like two floating around, but at one point Julius has a shotgun. Tommy Jarvis comes loaded with one. So the Tommy Jarvis of the game is like a mix of Rob from Part 4, Tommy Jarvis from Part 6, and a little bit of Julius.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. You're going to like that game.
So my little fun fact is Jason made an appearance on Arsenio Hall, and he stayed in character the whole time. So it's worth saying.
I'll take a look at that.
It's probably better than the entire movie you just watched.
Probably.
It's not the worst movie. It's just the worst Jason movie so far.
Yes.
There are way worse movies. I can't think of any right now.
Yeah, like
but there
Rat Boy.
are worse
Rat Boy's
movies.
pretty bad.
I mean, Memorial Valley Massacre comes to mind. That's not a good one. You can avoid that one. Killing Birds, that one's not good.
The Feather of the Plumage Crystals.
No, don't be talking
It's
about
the
bird.
bird with the crystal plumage.
Bird
I
with
know,
the
I was
crystal
joking.
plumage wouldn't wipe its
Bird
butt
with
with this movie.
Yeah, I think the credits of that movie is probably better than this movie.
Did this movie even have credits? It didn't do the Jason like the black screen credits thing. It just went straight to the, hey, it's New York and you want to get some, but you're going to get heroin instead because it's New York.
All right, first of all, who gives away their heroin like that?
I know, right?
Like, if I had heroin, I wouldn't be injecting it into somebody else. Be injecting it into me.
Yeah, right?
And not giving a fuck about anything else.
I don't know, man. I don't understand. I'm.
This is before the opioid epidemic, though. So
Yeah, this movie might not play as well anymore as it did in the 80s.
It doesn't play at all.
Yeah, who would have thought that the downfall of this movie would be an opioid conscious audience?
Oversensitivity of opioid addiction.
Yeah.
Not all the racial insensitivities and
I remember the last
Or the
time.
raping.
and the raping.
I remember the last time I got to play Warren Zevon's Carmelita at a bar, because that we reached a critical mass with opioids that me singing a song that even mentioned it got such a look from the audience that I was like, and we don't sing that song anymore. That was a shame. That's a good song.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. There's a couple of Zevon songs I've had to take out of the quill, if you will. It's very sad. Those Londoners don't want to hear about their werewolves anymore. Jeez. So, George, where do we go from here, man? You got Baby Jason restored. Are we going to go like the Baby Jason route? Forget Tommy Jason. We got Baby Jason.
Killer Baby Jason.
I don't know.
I think he's all Jasoned out.
I don't know. How many more of these are we
man.
doing?
12.
12 more.
12 more?
Yeah.
12 more.
We're going to get to Friday the 13th, part 20, and then you can quit.
Man, I mean, I can do anything for a month.
Where do we
so.
go from here?
I don't know. Where do we go?
What are we doing? No.
We gotta
See if
watch 9
Jason
next.
9 and 10.
if Jason was a what did I call him earlier? A mania, then it could go anywhere. We could continue this forever, indefinitely. But now I'm sure that the next movie is going to start in some way that has nothing to do with this movie, because that seems to be a trend now at this point.
We'll have
Just
to wait
start
and
the next.
see.
Yeah.
Now, if you want some extra credit, it's been a while since I've offered much extra credit.
Mm.
In 1988, there was a movie that came out in the UK called Unmasked, Part 25, which may have been a slight dig at where Friday the 13th and other franchises were at that point. It's a standalone movie about a serial killer slasher guy named Jackson.
Love it.
Who wears a goalie mask.
Love it already.
And it's kind of funny, and it's kind of scary, and it's weird as fuck. But I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite oddities of the late 80s. It's on Tubi if you want to watch it, or you can buy it's on Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome. It's real good. It's an excellent companion piece to Part 8 because it does it better, and it did it first. So you'll see scenes where he's walking through, I guess London or whatever major city they're in, and you're just like, oh, this is what Part 8 tried to be, but didn't. Yeah, it's good. I recommend it. It's not good. If you come into it with high expectations, you'd be like, oh, it's a little slow. I don't know that all the humor works. Okay, whatever. It's way better than Part 8, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, if we're comparing it to Part 8, it's probably
just from now on, compare every movie to Part 8 so that you love all the movies.
Yeah, it's a strategy.
It's just like a life philosophy now.
There is a purpose to watching all these.
We can compare our lives to Part 8.
Every day, man. At least we're not on a boat.
Is that how you stay so peppy, Dan?
Yeah, man. I just Part 8 all day, every day. If you get bored, check out the extra features on Part 8. This just made my day today. Slashed scenes for Part 8. There's not really much gore removed. There's a little bit. But there's this weird plot thread that they're the final graduating class from their unnamed high school. And it keeps popping up in dialogue that ended up getting cut from the movie for no reason. During all this cut dialogue, it comes out just for no reason except for, the Friday the 13th Part 3 rapid character development that the captain of the ship tells the one guy who never has any backstory. They're like, hey, I hear you're part of the diving team. I hope your diving goes well. Maybe when we get to the middle of the ocean, I'll let you dive off the high board off the boat or something. And you're just like, wait, what? Why? Huh? And that's the guy that ends up climbing up the ladder and falling high dive style onto the radio antenna and getting impaled. So there was a whole reason he was going to have to fall, man. And they took it out.
I like it.
It's so dumb. I love it. If you come in expecting it to suck, this movie is fun. It's just, I don't know that we ever prepared you for how bad this was going to be. So you might be mad at us right now.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Part 8. Yeah.
9? Yeah, Part 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, you have to suffer through this because we did. And it there is a purpose. We're basically showing the downfall and what happened between 1981 and 1991, where the slasher film basically became a parody, and it became sadly not respected, and just kind of like a cash cow, and people would come and see it and complain about it, but they'd go back to the next one, and it was just it kind of brings in the early 90s and what we are going to go to and show you why this had to end. And then you'll see the remake of the original, and you'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Sounds good.
I love Part 9. I'm so excited. Part 9 was one of my favorites as a kid for a lot of reasons. So where do you go from here, George? Do you think just fresh start, just dump everything we just saw?
Yeah.
I keep hoping that little baby Jason will be running around fully freshly formed and blending in with the local elementary school for wayward children, and nobody knows he's really Jason Voorhees. They just think he's the quiet kind of contemplative type. He be contemplating that machete.
I think a fetal Jason would be kind of cool.
Just cutting his way out.
like larvae Jason.
Oh, jeez. It's just like the Cronenberg movie Shivers.
Yeah.
Just
or like Squirm.
Poop worms.
Poop worms.
Why did they look like poop in that movie? I liked Shivers. It was cool, but the special effects, you could have made your monster look like anything. And you made your monster a poop worm. That's neither here nor there.
Speaking of Cronenberg, we have to do The Fly. We have to.
Help me.
Have to do The Fly.
Help me. Are you ready for the final lap here, George? You got 9 and 10, and then you've seen Freddy vs. Jason. We can skip that one.
We can skip that. And then the remake.
And then the remake.
I saw Freddy vs. Jason a very, very long time.
That's a fun movie.
You're asking to watch more of these movies, is what I'm hearing, George.
I would sit and watch Freddy vs. Jason. I love Freddy vs. Jason.
It's great.
Well, what year did that come
It was
out?
like 2009, I think.
Okay, that's the year I saw it. Like
Yeah.
I saw it right when it came out.
That's a fun-ass movie.
No, it was like 2003 or 4, 2005.
Was it?
Yeah, because the remake
Maybe
was,
5.
Yeah, because I saw it.
The remake was 9.
Yeah, I skipped prom to watch Jason X in theaters.
Ugh, so sad.
I didn't mind. Prom is stupid. And then
So is Jason X.
But yeah, that's true.
It's fun. Like, it's got its thing.
But
It's got its thing.
we got to get to Jason X first. So the next movie, George, I don't even know if I want to tell you the title. I think I'm not going to. Travis, do you have the next 2 on DVD or Blu-ray that you can bring over there?
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh, they didn't come in your set?
No, that set I sent him is only 1 through 8. It's the Paramount years.
Gotcha. What else were they doing?
Oh, jeez Louise. The Accused? I mean, that's a real movie.
That's a good movie, yeah.
I haven't
don't think
seen
it had
it.
anything to do with
I don't know if I've
the-
ever
the-
seen it all the way through, but it's well regarded.
I love The Accused. Well, I don't love it. Like, it was a good movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but it's
it was so good.
It's
Probably
Oscar,
wouldn't
it's,
watch it
it's an
again.
Oscar award-winning movie, but the subject matter is pretty disturbing.
Well, and you know how they paid for that movie? All that Jason money. So you're welcome, Jodie Foster, eventual star of a real good, scary movie that won an Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Your big break comes... well, that wasn't her big break. She was a huge star before that. But I'm just trying to make Jason responsible for all this. And it's
She was the first fetal Jason. She's been acting since she was a baby.
I don't think fetal Jason's got legs. I don't think you're going anywhere with that.
He does, but he can't walk.
God, can you imagine what a fetal Jason would look like?
It would be about as boring as Part 8.
It would be just like a little lizard dragon monster baby crawling around at high speed. It's a stupid idea.
It would be interesting.
Hey guys, it's Dan again in the editing room. Just wanted to point out that everything I just specced out that sounded ridiculous is the actual plot of Part 9 that he's about to watch. Jason Goes to Hell. George has no idea and continues on as if I was just kidding. He walked right into an ambush. Anyway, back to the show.
It would be... really what that movie would be an insight into Mrs. Voorhees.
I've specced out a prequel to Friday the 13th that I think would really... I think it would move people. I think you could make a real grown-up adult Hollywood movie out of it. I'm excited for Part 9. I love Part 9. There's some stuff about it. I mean, it's the Angry Pickle movie. Aren't we excited for some Angry Pickle?
Oh, that's Part 9? You
Part
shouldn't have
9.
told me.
Wait, there's
You
an
don't
Angry
see
Pickle in
Angry
Part 9?
Pickle. It's just from the
Okay.
director's commentary. They talk about Angry
okay.
Pickles. All right, folks. Join us next time for Friday the 13th, Part 9. Jason Goes to Hell. Okay, officially it's not Friday Part 9. It's just Jason Goes to Hell, but that's a licensing issue we are not beholden to. So we're calling it Friday the 13th, Part 9. Jason Goes to Hell. Come join us for the Angry Pickles and the demon fetal Jason monsters running on the floor and rebirth and body hopping, all the stuff that George has been looking forward to, but way worse than he ever imagined. As always, you can find us in the meantime on Twitter and Instagram at Remedial Film Pod. You can find us at facebook.com/Remedial Film Pod, and you can email us your best suggestions for how to deal with fetal Jason at remedialfilmpod@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for Jason Goes to Hell, Friday the 13th, Part 9.